Hello. We're getting around Christmas time and there's so many stories to share. This one is a cute one and it's called The Last Straw by Frederick H. Thury. Hushmakaka, the old camel, was asleep in the desert night. He dreamed of all the water in the world and a hump that would hold the whole entire sea. Hearing voices, Hushmakaka opened one eye. Hushmakaka, Hushmakaka. Reluctantly, Hushmakaka opened the other eye. "Why should I be awake?" he grumbled. The sand whirled up into the moonlight sky. "You have been chosen," the voices whispered. The sand seemed to shift again. "You will carry gifts to the baby king." "Who are you?" Hushmakaka wanted to know, for he was an old camel and felt he had earned his sleep. "You will carry frankincense, myrrh, and gold. The wise men have chosen you." Hushmakaka got up very slowly. "Why me? If these men are so wise, don't they know about my joints, my gout, my arthritis? What did you say I am to carry? How much will it weigh? Besides, I have other commitments. There's a water drinking convention or competition in Ragel, and then I really must go to the cud chewing convention in Beamish." The sand blew furiously, cutting into the black night. Hushmakaka was startled and decided maybe he'd better do as the voices said. Who knew what made the sand move like creatures with great wings? "So when do I start?" he said carefully. "Today." And with that, the sand voices disappeared, and it was morning. It was still early as the servants of the wise men placed the precious gifts onto Hushmakaka's back. The young camels ran to their good friend. They all looked up to him because he was old, and they thought him wise. "You must be very special, a very special camel," they sighed. "Yes, I am very special," Hushmakaka puffed out his chest in pride, and then said something a little bit foolishly. "I'm not so old. I'm still as strong as 10 horses, and I have been chosen to carry rich gifts for this new king baby." "Can we come too?" asked the youngest camel, who never wanted to be left behind. "Aren't we your friends?" another one shouted. "Well, you can walk beside me," Hushmakaka replied in his most regal voice, and the long journey began. At noon, a herd of mountain goats came into view. Hushmakaka thought that they had come a long way from their mountain home in the north. "What is it you want?" Hushmakaka called out. "We have heard tell of the new king who is to be born. Please take our humble gift with you. It's milk for the king." "You want me to carry milk?" Hushmakaka sputtered in shock. "I am not a milk-bearing camel. I am not ordinary at all, not like you." The young camels chorused, "No, he is not ordinary." They looked up to him with their big brown eyes. "He's strong. Why, he's as strong as 10 horses." Hushmakaka muttered to himself, "Oh, my joints, my gout, my arthritis." But aloud he grandly said, "Give me your gift." At 1 o'clock, he was stopped by a family of millers. "Look," said the youngest camel, "they're carrying bags of ground corn. Do you suppose that is for the new king?" "They will have to carry it themselves," Hushmakaka replied. They can follow the star just like the rest of us. The young camels crowded around Hashmakaka eagerly. But you're so strong. You're strong as 10 horses. Hashmakaka felt weary just looking at the bags. But he said to the millers, "Give me your heavy bags. I'll carry them." At 2 o'clock the next day, young ladies gave Hashmakaka their fine silks. Oh, at least the cloth doesn't weigh anything, he thought. At 3 o'clock, an old man in fine clothes gave him 2 rare birds in silver cages. At 4 o'clock, some merchants gave him pillars of oak that came from all the way from Lebanon. At 5 o'clock, a group of bakers gave him their finest sweetmeats and pastries. At 6 o'clock, the sun finally went down, and the crowds melted into the coming night. Hashmakaka was grateful. He sank into the sand. In the kind darkness, he didn't have to pretend that he was as strong as 10 horses. Hashmakaka became aware that it didn't seem as dark as usual. He looked up and saw the splendor of the skies and the special brightness of a star that he had been following. He fell asleep wondering about the sand voices and the wings he had thought he could almost see. But as the sun rose over the desert hills, it was hard to remember the wonder of that star. The new day brought new pains and new burdens for Hashmakaka. "I don't think I will make it. I can't carry anymore. My legs are getting weaker. Oh, my gout, my arthritis, my joint. Oh, I'm so loaded down." Word of the caravan had spread like sand before a desert wind. People lined the route holding up their gifts for Hashmakaka to take to the baby king. There were jars full of honey and baskets of money. There were jewels and beads and large rolls of leather. And last but not least, there were 20 gallons of wine. Hashmakaka moaned to himself, "This will bring me to ruin, this fruit of the vine." But then the youngest camel called out, "Look, there, it's Bethlehem. You've made it, Hashmakaka. You are as strong as 10 horses." Hashmakaka knew he could just do it if he did not stop until he arrived at the spot beneath the star. He could. He knew he could. And just then, out of the growing darkness, a small voice said, "I have a gift for the baby." Hashmakaka looked down at a tiny child. "Please, child, no more gifts." "It has no weight," said the child. "It's long and light. It's for the king who is born this night. It's little." "Too little is too much," Hashmakaka whispered. "Didn't I hear them say you were strong as 10 horses?" asked the child. "Well, yes, I am, sort of. But my joints, my arthritis, my gout." Hashmakaka looked into the child's eyes, and his heart melted. "Yes, child, give it to me, this smaller than small gift. What harm can it do?" "It's for his bed. It's all I have." "No problem at all," said Hashmakaka, bravely, if not foolishly. At this time, Hashmakaka had kept walking because he knew if he stopped, he could not start again. Now he could see that the star shone down upon a lowly stable. "Child, do it now. Place your straw upon my back as I approach the new king." Hashmakaka entered the stable. "Oh, my knees are loosening. My legs, they wobble. My back is breaking. Will this last straw cause me to fall?" And with that, Hashmakaka fell to his knees. "Oh my," he thought, This is no way for a camel to behave. They will say that Hashmakaka, the weak camel, Hashmakaka, the proud camel, should not have traveled this far. But the wise men noticed Hashmakaka. Quickly, they too knelt. Oh, they're mocking me now, falling on their knees, heads bent over like gnarled old trees. Then, from the humble manger, a tiny hand reached out and touched Hashmakaka. His pain seemed to disappear. He could no longer feel his burden. Hashmakaka whispered to the baby, "Hosanna from Hashmakaka. Accept these gifts kindly. They come from far and wide, brought by a beast who once acted blindly." And from that time on, there was no burden, great or small, that Hashmataka would not gladly carry. The end. Thank you. Merry Christmas.